Back on postgame here on CBS Sports HQ. This would be first down from Saquon Barkley late in Monday Night Football. Will lead to a Birds field goal to make it 6. Then lead to a fast drive down the field by Atlanta. Ended in a touchdown and a PAT. And you add those numbers up, it's a 1-point winner for the Falcons. Nick Sirianni at the podium speaking on these decisions.
Yeah.
What happened on the timeout that burned? The time I got to burn the last drive, the second last drive.
Yeah, no, we were planning on going a delay there and taking our timeout to try to go there. So nothing, and that wasn't on Fred.
Nick, what was your thought process on the 3rd and 3 call on the pass? And on that play, is there a mechanism where Jalen just sits down, takes a sack, it's not wide open?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we wanted to. They were running a certain defense and junking it up in the middle. So we're trying to go around the outside, and you know, it didn't work.
What was your thought pattern there on going kicking the field goal? Where do you think about going?
You know, again, in that scenario, I was thinking they might not have any timeouts there, but obviously they did with the incomplete pass. You know, that would have came down to maybe a minute, and so we wanted to go up 6 points. You know, and it didn't work. So, you know, the decision to pass it there, again, like I said, you know, where they were junking it up inside, with it being 4th and 3 to go for it, I thought. You know, with them not having any timeouts, I wanted them to be down a touchdown and see if they could drive the field, and they did. Hats off to them.
Stats already, but when you look at the final 2 minutes of this game, you know, what do you take away from this, and what caused it?
Yeah, you know, they made a couple more plays than we did down the stretch. You know, we made some plays, they made more, and you know, that's on all of us. That starts with coaching and goes to the players. We're all responsible for the loss. That's how close games are in this league, right? To 22-21. Sometimes it just comes down to a couple plays, but it's never just one play. It's never just that play, because all the plays equal up to the win or to the loss.
Your D lineman just had 1 sack in 2 games, not a lot of pressures. Are you getting enough from your pass rush and your front four?
You know, we'll obviously look at this game and see what happened. I think sometimes you have to earn the right to rush, meaning you got to have them in passing situations. It didn't seem like we had some passing situations today. They were in 3rd and manageable or 2nd and manageable. So sometimes you got to earn the right to rush. And like I said, when they're ahead of the sticks, that makes it a little bit harder on the pass rush. So we'll look at the tape of this game, and we'll see what happens. We'll see with you know, what it is.
We see you guys use the tackle circuit a lot, but it seems like there's been a key moments. There's been a lot of missed tackles already. What do you do at this point in the season? I know it's still early, but what do you do this season?
Yeah, it's early. We'll keep working on our tackling. We'll keep, just like you keep working on your ball security, just like you keep working on your catch circuits, just like you keep working on trying to take away the football. But yeah, a couple missed tackles in some situations, a couple good tackles. I thought the guys really had great effort to the football. You know, we knew we needed to do that with Bijan, the way he could kind of make somebody miss, and it felt like when he would make somebody miss, there'd be somebody right there in his hip. So we knew he would get some that would, you know, he'd make some guys miss, but our emphasis was trying to make sure that we were there with the rest of the guys to pick up the pieces.
So over the place, is there any teaching point, anything to point out with those illegal downfield? I think there were 3 of them today. Some of them RPOs.
Yeah. Some of them are on us as coaches. Some of them are on you know, a player being down, you know, going too fast. We coach that not to go too fast, but some of them are on us in the certain scenarios of when we call them. It's really hard to get called for, in my opinion, for a bubble screen. You know, to being able to throw a bubble screen out there. I mean, that happened so quick, and you know, But it looked like they made the right call on all those. It's just hard when you can't throw that bubble screen out there when they load the box on something like that. But we got to play the rules that are there. I thought, again, like I said, I thought the referees were right on the calls. Sometimes it was a coaching thing, sometimes a player thing.
Are there decisions you would have done differently in hindsight?
Sure. Like anytime you go and you don't get points on a drive in the red zone, 4th and 3 in the first one, you're like, well, should I have went for that there? And I went for a 4th and 3 after that. After the completion to Dallas that got us to 4th and 3, we got that and we got points out of that. So anytime it doesn't work out, that's why I'm sitting in this seat, the head coaching seat. Like, I got to be ready for the consequences of whether it works or whether it doesn't work. And in that scenario, first off, obviously it didn't work. So obviously I'm going to second guess myself in those scenarios that it doesn't. Same thing on the 3rd and 3. It was an incomplete pass. So sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't work. And all I can do is go back and review those and say, did I like what we did here? Would we do it again, or would we change directions next time? Everything's thought out of what we want to do, but that's this game of football. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and in those cases it didn't, and so I got to rethink it.
In this case, it certainly did not work, so it's back to work for Philadelphia. Nick Sirianni, that decision on 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
Eagles?
You can't do that. You can't squander away these opportunities, Joe.
Eagles had a 99.3% chance to win on 3rd and 3 with the football. No timeouts for Atlanta. You know why?
Because the computer thought they were going to run the football.
Computer was right. Week 3, they got the Saints. Week 4, it's the Bucs. A Week 5 bye. So instead of riding high at 2-0, you're licking your wounds a bit.
No question.
Taking on a Saints team that looks all sorts of real.
Yeah.